Hey, what is going on YouTube? This is a Chustle VGC, and I'm going through today a VGC team building guide containing some of the steps that I use when building teams for different VGC formats. I noticed recently on a couple of the Reddit pages I follow and Discord and just a couple of the social media in the community that there's a lot of new players, and with Pokemon Champions coming up, I think that'll just expand more. So prepared this guide with some help from some VGC players on the Midwest Discord. So appreciate the help there big time. So this will kind of walk through some of the process and hopefully explain how that works, and really focusing on the fact that not everything works for everybody. Most formats will gel around certain things that are obviously better than others, and I'll never tell you just to use a bunch of underused Pokemon, but there's definitely certain strategies that like gel more with your playstyle. So hopefully going through this guide will kind of help you discover that, and really it's kind of my approach to team building, and take a kind of a wide brushstroke and trying to cover most things, building more like reactive teams most of the time. But you'll kind of see some of the I will go through some of the teams I've used in the past and how I kind of structure that around this guide. So just kicking things off here with some steps. So just 1 through 4 here. So when you're starting to think about what team you want, we'll look at some other resources here in a second too. So core identity. What type of team do you want to build? Is it hyper offense? So is it dependent on outspeeding your opponent and doing a bunch of damage right away? Usually this can involve having some more frailer Pokemon and using items that will be damage boosting, like Life Orb or Choice Item, or taking advantage of a weather boost or terrain, something like that. So what kind of team do you want to build? Hyper Offense, Trick Room, weather dependent. So this is just kind of a example. Balance and reactive. So balance for me, when I look at what's common in the meta, that kind of feels like good stuff, we used to call it. It was kind of just the best Pokemon in the metagame, which like on paper doesn't necessarily have a bunch of synergy with each other. Like they're not helping each other out. They're kind of just like 6 independent Pokemon, and then the balance of them, especially their typing balance, works well together. But when you compare it to something like that's weather, you try to have most Pokemon on the team somehow benefit from like the rain or the sun. Balance is kind of like they're so good, and then there's like a good typing overlap. And then control, so that's a archetype I don't use a whole lot, and that's, I would say that the skill level is pretty high for those. So that involves usually using Pokemon that can shut down strategies. Prankster is big for that. Status, like abilities like Shadow Tag and things that can kind of control the pace of the game. One of my drawbacks is I'm very impatient when I play, so that is kind of a slow, methodical kind of strategy. So I'll take kind of big risks, hoping for big rewards a lot of times, because I ladder most of the time. So if we lose, it's not like it's impacting a tournament strategy or anything like that. When I play in a tournament, I definitely slow down. So control can be fun. It's just, it isn't an archetype that a lot of the Pokemon in the meta are usually like kind of built towards or leaning towards. So a lot of times you'll see kind of like odd picks for that. And then at the bottom, so when you are thinking about, okay, if you don't know what kind of team to build, you are kind of leaning more towards a balance usually. So FWG, Fire, Water, Grass, you start with, okay, Fire, Water, Grass core. I know they cover their weaknesses well. They hit a super effective types across a wide spectrum. And then Fairy, Steel, Dragon. So like obviously if you pick one from each of those, that would make 6 Pokemon. So it doesn't mean you have to rely on both of those, but that's kind of like the traditional like typing triangle, where you can just start with that and kind of, okay, I have this Fire, Water, Grass core. Now how do I build onto that for things that they're weak against? Like Fire, Water, Grass core would be weak against Dragon because they resist all those types. All right, so throwing a Fairy there, maybe some speed control. But we'll go through kind of those steps when we start looking at teams. But deciding what kind of team you want to build is kind of first. And if you're new, when weather is strong in a particular format, particular rain, I usually suggest people start with rain because it's kind of easy to explain how it's supposed to work. We do see rain around a little bit now, but not with a Swift Swimmer, and it's kind of like a hybrid choice. on a team, and like with like Urshifu taking advantage of the rain. So not a super easy archetype to run right now, and it's kind of just kind of a extra thing to add on to a team that's already good. So once you decide what kind of team you want, number 2, choosing your team members. So what's common in the metagame, and use your resources. So I do have some of these open. So I just picked three main resources. I know there's a lot, and people like have their favorites. If I can get it to load. Oh, I did. Okay, so especially if I've been out of the format for a while, Picolytics is where I usually start. So if I haven't been paying attention, so we'll run a Picolytics. In the top left-hand corner, you can select what format you're looking for. Now, we're not playing on the Switch Regulation F, so I've used Best of 3 Regulation F on Showdown to kind of see what is the most common Pokemon in the metagame. And that usually will kind of carry over. So I'm picking Best of 3 just because if we're not playing, like trying to ladder on the in-game ladder, then we're probably preparing for in real life tournaments. This website has a lot of ads is the only thing. It's going to be kind of an ad assassin. So this will tell you, okay, the most common Pokemon right now, Best of 3, Regulation F on Showdown. Like Raging Bolt is in half of the teams, right? So like probably a reason that like Hard Rain isn't like super common, because like obviously Raging Bolt would be really good against that. Flutter Mane, okay, so almost half the team's probably going to have both of these. Incineroar, Urshifu Rapid Strike, Ogerpon Wellspring, and then Landers. So here's your top 6, right? So if you put those together, that might be even a decent team on itself. Ogerpon Hearthflame, that's been picking up in usage over Wellspring. And it kind of goes down, and you can see what's really been common. Okay, so if you're trying to build a team, like you're looking kind of at the top 20 Pokemon here, like, okay, not that you have to pick through those, but you want your team to be comprised probably of most of the Pokemon on this list. A niche pick here and there can give you an advantage, especially if it's something that you're really used to playing. But I'll never tell people that you shouldn't use your favorites, but I have seen some teams like being posted on Reddit with like really kind of like oddball Pokemon that would probably be not even on this list, like really low in usage. Like, and you're just hampering yourself. Usually that means that the strategy you have based, or the coverage you want from that Pokemon, or the strategy you're trying to build around them, there's going to be a better like option, right? So like Landorus is by far the best ground type in the metagame right now. So like in the format. So if you go down, like, okay, Ursaluna is good, but that's for Trick Room. Tinglu's kind of specific. There's Landorus T is even higher. So like if you're gonna pick a ground type and you don't want to have Trick Room, you're gonna have most likely you're gonna have Landorus I. Landorus T I have used on a couple teams if I just couldn't fit Incineroar on, like if I was relying on other like fire offense, I didn't want to be like double water weak. Like, okay, maybe I'll take Landorus T just to have Intimidate. But other than that, if you're picking something else like yeah, I mean, it's maybe very difficult for you. Like, you're hampering yourself a little bit. Like, you want to give yourself the most optimal choice. So, okay. Like in formats where there isn't Landorus, like Garchomp's usually pretty popular, but obviously not hardly on this list at all. So choosing Garchomp, you're just like, unless you have a very specific like thing you want from him, you're just giving yourself kind of a disadvantage. So, so back to this real quick. So, what's common in the metagame? Use your resources. Showdown, Picolytics, Pokemon Home. If you have the app on your phone, it does tell you a lot more too. It'll tell you like what your like ELO score is on ranked and what is common used on ranked right now. Obviously, ranked right now is Regulation I, so it's not super helpful. And then Victory Road has a lot of like news stuff about, okay, like Paul Chua just winning the EUIC, mystery gifts, stuff like that. What's coming up for competitive Pokemon, but there's also rental teams on here. So if you're really stuck and you're just trying to like get involved in VGC and you're watching some YouTube content, it looks like it's something interesting you want to try. Like, don't be afraid to use some of these. Like, just use some of these rental teams. And here's your rental codes and these little Pokeballs here. See? And it tells you everything that they do. I tried Nice Team. It didn't work for me. Let me make sure I'm on the right page here. Yeah. So, and a lot of times if I'm really stuck, I'll look at a rental page and I see what they're trying to go for here. This is obviously working for them because they're running events in the metagame, I might take these 6 Pokemon or swap a couple out, and I'll build them myself and like have my own sets. Not necessarily just use the rental code, but use this as kind of an example, right? I did try an ice team like this. It's just there's a lot of things. I mean, I'm sure it can work, obviously, but if you feel like you're relying on your backup a lot, this is almost exactly what my team looked like, though. Okay. It's hard right now with regulation F because you can't practice on the ladder. You got to practice on showdown or tournaments. And then obviously showdown. So for practice, and then also using the team builder in here to kind of to construct your team and picking through as you go. So we'll kind of build a mock team as we are going through this, similar to the one I have. I kind of did one in advance, so I can kind of show you why I went with what I did. Choose the best Pokemon for the role that you need. Find something that matches your playstyle. How does the team counter common threats in the metagame? So your mock matchups, right? What are the top? If we go back to Pikalytics, not only what are the top Pokemon, but what are the top strategies? And like right now, it's kind of difficult because I mean there are strategies out there, but like I said, a lot of it's kind of good stuff balanced. Like you're trying to prepare for something, and it's like the team can actually move a lot of its parts around. But like, are you preparing for like what is your Dondozo matchup? You've only at 7%, but you know how like oppressive that can be when you have it. What is your Raging Bolt matchup if it has like Urshifu Rapid Strike as a partner? You can't just use Landers and blow it up. And Terrestrialization kind of throws in something totally different. So what we did see in the EUIC as the runner-up was Psychic Spam. I'm trying to go back to where I was. So if I'm looking at this metagame, and I'm trying to build a team, right? I definitely want Raging Bolt now, but I don't love just picking through and just building like a good stuff kind of balanced team. Like it can work, but for me this format's a little boring. So if I want to pick a core strategy, where's Iron Crown in here? So Indeed's 8% right now. Iron Crown is only 5.9%. You might see it tick up now just because we are we saw it perform well in the EUIC, and it can fit some of these other things that we're looking for, right? So what type of team are you building? So if I want to choose like a Psychic Spam Iron Crown team, that would be Hyper Offense because we're trying to just blow things up with Expanding Force. It can have a Trick Room component, and it also could have a little bit of weather too. Like the one that we're going to build is going to have that. So if I look at, okay, say I want to use Iron Crown. All right, what am I struggling against? The computer right now. Come on. Okay, it's scrolling there. There's an ad open or something. Okay, well, we're going to reload that page. Okay, so if I want to use Iron Crown, what in the format am I going to struggle against? Okay, Raging Bolt a little bit since Iron Crown is going to rely on like special damage. And that can come down to being difficult with Raging Bolt, and a lot of times Iron Crown will rely on a water type Terra, which obviously would be weak to Iron Bolt or Raging Bolt. So doesn't mean we're not going to do it. Just means we have to have some supporting members that handle that. Fluttermane, I don't really worry about because Iron Crown's obviously Steel type, and Attacking Cutter can even hit through Focus Sash. Incineroar obviously is the biggest problem, which is like why. I'm not surprised because Incineroar is always really common in formats. You shouldn't just not do it just because you have a dark type around, but you gotta have a good plan, right? So if you are gonna build around Iron Crown, we have to worry about Incineroar big time because obviously resisting steel and immune to your psychic attacks. So that's why a lot of them will be just. I can show you if I go down to Iron Crown. Okay. Okay. So, Terra type. Time that. Iron Crown, Attacking Cutter, blah, 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 blah. Well, it's water. It doesn't tell you that, I guess. So, the most common type right now, Terra type right now for Iron Crown is water for sure. Just to kind of be, protected from its fire attacks and be able to hit Incineroar for something. So, if you look at its moves, it's 4. Most common move: Tech Encounter, Protect, Expanding Force, and then Terra Blast. So you're like, as we see, most teams, 45% have Incineroar, right? And if they don't have Incineroar, a lot of times they have Fluttermane. which you'd be a little protected with Iron Crown with Follow Me and stuff like that. But you're going to be tearing Iron Crown probably most of the time in those games to correct for its typing that's not super great. Okay, so but the reason we want to go for it is because we're following our first. Where is it? Following our first rules. What team do you want? We're building hyper offense. So we already want that. And what are your cores and support? Okay, so Firewater Grass is what we'll kind of build around Iron Crown to kind of have a really good defensive kind of matchup against most things. So if we go to, skipping around a little bit here. Iron Crown, here it is. All right. So Psychic Terrain, because it's got rain. So I added Iron Crown here. Iron Crown with a booster energy for speed. Obviously, the ability we can't change. Attacking Cutter, Expanding Force, Terror Blast, and Protect. Okay, so we're starting with that. Just trying to do a bunch of damage at once, kind of catch our opponent off guard. There's not a lot of, like, we don't hit Rillaboom. Yeah, it's 26%. So there's only Psychic Terrain and Grassy Terrain in this format. So we got to kind of worry about losing our terrain a little bit, trying to keep our terrain control. But Iron Crown's not super worried about a Rillaboom until it Terras. So that's the other thing we got to kind of be mindful of. Oh, gosh. But it's an example of building around a core. Like, the rest of the stuff in here, you're not really always building around a core, like a core strategy. You're just you're using, like, your best 6, basically. And there is, like, obviously there's synergy and stuff like that. But when teaching somebody to build a new team, building around, like, a solid core sometimes can make more sense. So if we're starting with Iron Crown, and we're talking about synergy. So the best Pokemon for the role, if we want to use Expanding Force, we're going to Psychic Spam. Iron Crown's the best Pokemon for the role right now. Like, it's arguable, but having Booster Energy able to speed you up and outspeed common threats and get Expanding Force off quickly is definitely a benefit. So, scrolling down. So, asking yourself these things. This will work for every format. So, like, mock matchups, like right now, this is so kind of spread out where you're kind of seeing a little bit of, not like core strategies. You're kind of just seeing a balance of a lot of things. So it's not like to overly prepare for certain things. That's why I'm just looking at the top 6. Okay, how does this prepare for that otherwise? Where am I? Okay, good offensive strategy. Is there a good balance of physical and special attackers? So let's go through the rest of our team we built here. So it started with Iron Crown. We've talked about that already. Just full offense and its EVs. Indeedee. So we had to have Psychic Terrain if we're going to use Expanding Force. I use a berry. Like, there's a lot of things. Like, let's look at Indeedee and see what their most common item is. Like, I want Indeedee to have as much staying power as possible. So obviously Iron Crown is its number 1. So Rocky Helmet, Psychic Seed to increase its defense. Safety Goggles, I can see that being cool. Mental Herb is cool. So, like, Berry's not even on here, right? So I'm just trying to, because it is so bulky, usually I'll get the Berry and I'm just trying to squeeze out a little more HP and be able to hit Follow Me more often. So that's an example of something that might not be seen as super optimal, but, like, I'm using something I'm comfortable with, right? So going up here, you can also see your best teammates. This will kind of help us build the team a little bit if we needed it to. I tried that Regidrogo too. So Iron Crown, Urshifu Rapid Strike, Ogerpon, Hearthflame, Tornadus, Regidrogo. Okay. So you can use, like, we're swapping back and forth between Showdown and here, but if you use the team building function on Pikalytics, you haven't added any Pokemon. It's going to tell you, it's going to give you, God, everything is called Iron, whatever. Okay, Iron Crown. Okay, we got Iron Crown. So it's going to give you suggestions of what you should add. Indeedee. I think I had Hearthflame in our Hearthflame. Hearthflame. I had Rapid Strike Urshifu. So a lot of what they're suggesting I already had built in. How many Pokemon do we have? Is that 5? That's 4. What am I missing? Oh, Landorus. I got Landorus. So it might not even tell me that. Landorus. Okay. And my odd pick which we could go either way. Okay. So originally I had Corviknight for this team. I thought would be really cool. So like there's one example of a niche pick. Like we're just kind of playing with this format because we're just waiting for champions basically. But if I go back into Picolex thing, like Corviknight's not gonna be anywhere on here. But if I look at what would have been the top, well now it changed because I changed this up here. But okay, obviously Corviknight good against Fluttermane, pretty good against Rapid Strike Urshifu. Not good against Raging Bolt. Not super good against Incineroar, except it can't be intimidated with Mirror Armor, and I'm going to have Rain up. Good against Tornadus. Good. Kind of neutral, really, because it's immune to a Landorus's ground attacks, and usually Landorus will be running Sludge Bomb. It's immune to that. Good. So, good. So I'm probably going to end up building a Corviknight team. It's just, it couldn't fit on this one. I could sub something out. Team builder. Oh, that's something else I'm working on. I got rid of my team. Okay, hold on. I want to see if I can get sand to work too, but this is something I'm playing with. Okay. So, Iron Crown, Indeedee, Hearth Flame, Rapid Strike Urshifu, ooh. Pelipper. And who am I missing? Oh, Landers. Okay. It's not telling me I should use it. So now that, I mean, I'm looking at these, okay. I'm thinking, like, Raging Bolt may be the thing to have. So if you look at the team I have, okay, Iron Crown obviously needs Psychic Terrain to work, to use Expanding Force. That's why you need Indeedee and Iron Crown working together, right? So you're stacking up weaknesses. So now I have two Psychic weaknesses, even though they're not both weak to Ghost, they're both going to be weak to Dark. So now I have, like, Incineroar is a good lead into this. So just on Team Preview, having Pelipper and Urshifu Rapid Strike, that's a deterrent, right? Like, okay, your opponent's thinking, if I just lead Incineroar, like, obviously Katera, but then you're bullying your Terra and Incineroar, like, I could be in a bad position because I don't want to go up against Landers, I don't want to go up against Pelipper, I don't want to go up against Urshifu, I kind of don't want to go up against Ogerpon. I mean, it'd be alright, like, I'm not going to take a lot of damage, but it's kind of neutral. And then, like, Iron Crown probably has Terra, so this isn't looking like, what started looking like, oh, this is a great Incineroar matchup, now isn't looking so great, right? That's kind of the idea behind it. And I did get rid of Corviknight for more coverage. Like, not having Urshifu, I don't know, like, Urshifu gave me kind of like another mode, basically. So right now my first mode would be, okay, Iron Crown and Indeedee. That's my mode, leading with that. Now, I could be looking at things like, okay, this is, obviously they'll probably have Incineroar anyway, but okay, I see Rillaboom coming to this match for sure, so I'm going to lose my terrain, so I can't lead Indeedee, not to bring it in afterwards. So there are things I want to do to kind of deter seeing Rillaboom right away, or kind of scaring it off, like Landorus. I usually have Poison Terra Landorus. Can have that. Sludge Bomb can do a lot to, you know, I'll work upon a Hearth Flame. Pelipper can hit it with a Flying move, is why I didn't go with Politoed. I wanted Tailwind. Yeah, so Rillaboom's a little bit of an issue for this team right now. Not crazy, because I mean, Iron Crown obviously resists grass moves too, but okay. So back to here. So added Pelipper just to kind of scare away Incineroar and give myself another mode. Like, this could be Pelipper or Urshifu Rapid Strike, could be like the kind of the rain mode. We don't have like Swift Swim on here, which would traditionally be like for a rain team. But Urshifu is just so good. Like, and I do a Choice Scarf. You know, I did think about it. So that's a change you could make. I just went Mystic Water. I'm not a big fan of using a lot of choice items. Obviously, we can block Fake Out and stuff like that. So with Psychic Terrains, Ogerpon Hearth Flame. Since I already had Follow Me support with Indeedee, I actually used Swords Dance. So this could be another lead. You do Hearth Flame, Ogerpon with Indeedee as a lead, and then Follow Me and Swords Dance. So hit a couple of the things that normally this team that's mainly would be scared of, like Steel types. So obviously you boost up and you're able to use Ivy Cudgel to kind of hit through those. And then with your grass typing, you can hit through the water types that the water types can't hit through. So a little bit of synergy that's kind of on top of itself as far as bringing the rain when you have a strong fire attacker. But you're always going to kind of some overlap like that. Just kind of avoid it. Using Landorus is really powerful in the format right now. Sandsea Storm doesn't miss in the rain. Can also hit electric types, like Raging Bolt, stuff like that. So right now, looking at this team, like Raging Bolt is kind of a problem. Like, yeah, I can hit it with Landorus. You got to position it so it's right. It might have a Calm Mind up, and it's already kind of bulky on the special side. Plus, it could be Terra. I mean, like, it's more of a standoff than anything else. So that'd be something else I kind of have to think about. Like this Pelipper, this Water Core maybe I could see the change. Like if you just had Rapid Striker, Shifu, like that might be the room for the Corviknight thing. But then you're kind of stacking some fire weaknesses, but you're only ever going to see Incineroar. So still might go with that. That might actually be better. Because I did have Politoed on here with Corviknight. Is more to give him another more coverage. So maybe we'll change that in just a second. So back to our list here. So that's kind of where I started with building a team for this video. What core you want to go with, and then building around its supporting members from that. Is there a good balance of physical and special attackers? So if we look at it, so special, physical, special, physical. So a decent balance. It's not 50-50, but Indeedee like really not attacking hardly ever anyway. So and like if you're going to lean more towards one or the other, you kind of rather have special since you're not affected by Intimidate. So I'd say we were okay with that. Does the team have both spread and single target damage options? So I do have some. So obviously Expanding Force is spread in terrain. Other than that, I really just have Landorus with Sandsea Storm for spread. So I would say we're okay. At least we have two options for spread damage because there's a lot of redirection. So just making sure you have some way to get around that. Does the team have does the team have any options to boost offense? So weather, yes, we have rain to boost offense from Urshifu and a little bit from Pelipper, and to make sure Landorus' attacks don't miss. And obviously we have Psychic Terrain also to boost psychic moves. Setup moves, I have Swords Dance on Hearthflame, and abilities and items, the things that would like boost damage. So nothing really there except for Psychic Terrain also. So feel good about what our offensive strategy is and what our synergy is. Are the team members working together to boost their offense? Yes, indeed, he's helping Iron Crown. Pelipper's helping Urshifu Rapid Strike, and also kind of helping Landorus because making sure the main attack doesn't miss. And then Follow Me is helping Hearthflame boost its own damage. It's kind of a roundabout way. So, but like you want to think about like passive effects, right? So having the Psychic Terrain up is a passive effect. I don't have to summon it with a move or anything like that. It's just already there. So on turn 0 or turn 1, it already gives me a boost without having to burn a move on it. Defensive mitigation. Does the team have methods of disruption and damage mitigation, intimidate, screens, or redirection? So I do have redirection with Indeedee. Indeedee will also, we'll see what screen I gave it, have screens. So I gave it Reflect because I'm not running Intimidate, right? So we're already worried about Incineroar coming to like every game, so a little bit of Reflect to protect myself from like dark damage output, and just because I don't have Intimidate. So most of the time you want to run Intimidate when you can. That's why Incineroar is like on every team, but it didn't. And he could work on this team too, obviously, but without having really rely on Fake Out. Because I have Psychic Terrain I'm going to be using, and Hearthflame gave me another mode for like some offense because I'm like, this is kind of shaky because there's a lot of things that can disrupt this lead. It can work really well if you can get rolling with it, but it's not like a guaranteed thing. Okay, so where did I show that? All right. Okay. All right, so we do have screens. Do you have at least 3 Pokemon that carry Protect? Yeah, I at least have that. So Protect, Detect, Protect. So most, I could even probably give up one. So that's, if I was gonna change something about, okay, maybe Choice Scarf or Urshifu, since I'm gonna be blocking priority. I have redirection, and I also like we're not super fast unless Tailwind is up. That might be something I change, right? So we're gonna go to Choice Scarf. We're just gonna do it. Oops. Okay, now we need to move. Oops. Okay, so close combat, Aqua Jet. Oh yeah, U-turn. Yeah, I forgot I got U-turn. I don't use choice items hardly ever, so Okay, U-turn, just to kind of be able to phase out. So that's actually a better improvement. So if it didn't have a lot of protects, if I had ones that were relying on a Pokemon that were relying on Assault Vest or just not, or other choice items, or just not having room for protect, I probably wouldn't have made that change. I want to have at least 3 members of my team that has protect. Our defensive typings and abilities overlapping efficiently. So we know about abilities already. We talked about that. Defensive typings, like okay. So Ironcrown and DD, obviously weak to dark together. Urshifu resist it. It's gonna be Incineroar anyway. For the most part, so he's kind of the Incineroar, like killer pretty much. Worried about steel types that will resist psychic. So I have Ogerpon and I have Landers for that. Worried about electric attacks for Pelipper and Urshifu Rapid Strike. I have Landers to kind of protect against that. Plus Ogerpon will resist it. Plus every direction. So we do have, and with the addition of Ogerpon in the game, having a fire, water, grass course is a lot easier, right? Because we have a Pokemon you can have with water, grass typing, and that's not Ludicolo, and have fire, grass typing. So the Pelipper thing here, we might actually end up changing that. I might be over worried about it. Okay. Our defensive typings and abilities overlapping. Officially, yes, we know that. So so far we feel pretty good. We'll go through the rest of this. I might end up changing the Pelipper slot. Like I do like having Tailwind. But the thing about, I'm already going to be tearing Ironcrown pretty much every time. So yeah, I'd be weak to Incineroar on the fire moves on Corviknight slot, but I can hit him back also with Body Press. So we might look at changing that. Because all Pelipper's going to do is come out, do Tailwind and then die. So, and Urshifu's already going to be doing a bunch of damage without having the rain necessarily. So, okay. Does the team have reliable speed control? Tailwind, Trick Room, Icy Wind, Scary Face, Electro Web. So I put this as separate because that is so important in VGC. Is like if you're not attacking first, you're probably dying first. So you definitely want to have some way to rely on. Either that's why weather's so common. So especially with a Swift Swimmer or somebody who gets a speed boost, like a Extra Drill or a Chlorophyll Pokemon in the weather, because if you can come out, bring your weather up right away, without using any moves or doing anything or even having a turn yet, you're already faster. But Icy Wind's also really common on a fast Pokemon. But all these things take turns, right? Trick Room really common. I don't use Trick Room a whole lot, but like this format, I'm pretty much just running that Mimikyu Trick Room team all the times because Tailwind is so common. You're just you each bring Tornadus, you each click Tailwind, and now we're right back to standard. And maybe he's got faster Tailwind or faster Tornadus than you do, and then Tornadus die. So Trick Room, I feel like if everybody's already using Tailwind, which is where I pretty much build on all my teams. I'm gonna use Trick Room because I don't get an extra turns out of it, and I can be really bulky then. That is a kind of a good strategy to use if you're nervous about a format and haven't dipped your toe in a lot, because you can build your team a lot bulkier with Trick Room, since you don't have to invest in speed. Okay, so the team is reliable speed control. Right now we have Tailwind, Ice Wind, Scary Face. So I don't have anything else besides. You like to have 2. I like to have 2 usually. Like if I have an electric type attacker, I like to have Electro Web if it makes sense. Scary Face would be a prankster thing. I don't have. Now we have train ups for that. And then Icy Wind would be a possibility if I would have had Politoed, then I wouldn't have had. I basically put Landers on instead of having Politoed Corviknight. Can the team function if speed control is denied or reversed? Yes. We're not super reliant on it because we do have speed boost from our booster energy. Plus we also have redirection and stuff. Does the team have reliable Trick Room counterplay? Taunt, Slow Pokemon, Roar, and Prison. So I really don't have that on this team. I pretty much always build a team with Taunt. And we don't have a lot of Pokemon that are slow either. So we get to use our really good synergy typing to kind of swap into Resist, utilizing DD screens and Follow Me and stuff like that. So that's another kind of reason to add Corviknight to this because it is pretty slow. And it could do well against, you're going to run into Ursaluna, either one of the types. So Corviknight's going to be immune to ground type moves and resist the regular moves. So plus be able to hit back against a normal type with Bypress. So we're kind of convincing ourselves that Corviknight's a better move, right? Okay, so can the team fight? Yes. So typical counterplay. So a lot of times, I'll run Taunt pretty much on every team I build for the most part. This is more hyper offense where I'm just worried about stepping on the gas. Like, so if you're running taunt, especially on a reactive team or a team that's like a good stuff balance team, you definitely want to have that to kind of shut down like a Moongus and redirectors and stuff. Stop Trick Room. Like for this team we're building, I'm running. Okay, I'm going hyper offense. So I'm stepping on the gas right away. I'm not being overly concerned about what my opponent's doing. I'm just trying to do damage and like wear them down. So I'm trying to get them to worry about what I'm doing. So not the team I typically build. Like I'll go back and forth kind of on different ways I build teams. But taunt is super valuable. So that is definitely a weakness I'm having right now, not having that. Okay, slow Pokemon, Roar, and Prison. So we're thinking about having Corviknight for that. Okay, so meta check. Is the team weak to popular Pokemon or common meta cores? So right now, I would say, yeah, Incineroar, we know we're trying to like close the gap for being weak to Incineroar. If you're talking about, let's go back to here. Okay, so Flutter Mane, not overly worried about Flutter Mane, especially if I had Corviknight, I really won't be worried. Urshifu Rapid Strike, yeah, I mean you always gotta be kind of like consider being worried about that because we don't have a huge coverage for it. Yeah, it's actually kind of a weakness. So obviously we can hit it on its fighting side with Iron Crown and Indeedee, but if we're thinking about okay. Yeah, it's another reason to have Corviknight, honestly. So, a little weak to him. Raging Bolt, not great. And Corviknight, adding Corviknight would not help that. So, maybe that is probably what we should build our Terror type for Corviknight around is like a Grass type Corviknight. Then we pick up an Incineroar weakness, obviously, but we're already weak to Fire anyway. So, Incineroar, yeah, we're kind of overly prepared for Incineroar. Tornado's not worried about. Chimpa not worried about. Ogerpon Wellspring, like a little bit, but not worried about it, I guess. Landorus, I mean, not if I Terra with Iron Crown, won't worry about it. Rillaboom just doesn't like him bringing the terrain. Heartflame. Amoonguss, don't have Taunt, and don't have really any way to shut down, except for hitting him super effective with a Psychic attack, but obviously with Terra, with Terastallization, it doesn't really work that way, so. Okay, and so now we're getting down to the things we're not going to see very often. So, when you're doing hyper offense, you're more worried about like the core of like this team that you're building. Does this work together to be able to get really aggressive to begin with? Like, yeah, you can. Okay, I'm gonna build really defensively and try to cover for everything, and then you kind of end up like with a team that's in the middle. That they still can work. You can have like a reactive, like balanced team, but that's not the team we're really trying to build. So, okay, back to this. So yeah, we patched a lot of the weaknesses. We're thinking about adding Corviknight to kind of do more of it. Does the team directly counter any major threats in the format? Not really. It's hard because the format is like just so spread out. Are there matchups that feel unwinnable without major outplays? Yeah, Dundozo I think would be tough. Right now, if we run into any of those, like. And Trick Room, and it might be kind of a challenge. Is there a Pokemon you can add to mitigate challenges? So we already are. Yes, there is. We're changing it. So Pelipper isn't going to work for us. So really, we were getting a little bit out of Pelipper, and it was kind of It was kind of scaring off Incineroar a little bit, but we still look okay against Incineroar. So I want Corviknight for sure, which is an odd choice, right? But I feel like as we walk through it, he's good against a lot of these guys. So then we have to decide: are we doing like an aggressive, like Corviknight's going to do damage, or like more of a supportive one? So I need Tailwind for sure because I just got rid of it. I need Body Press. And am I more worried about like am I more worried about Urshifu or am I more worried about Flutter Mane? I mean, I think resisting Flutter Mane is good enough. I also have Iron Crown that can hit it. And it's not going to be able to knock me out if I get Tailwind, and once you're outspeeding it, then it's easier. So I think I'm not as worried about having a Steel-type move as I am about having Brave Bird. Okay. So now I have a choice, right? So I either want, like, I don't really want Roost. He doesn't have Protect, which then we won't have Protect on a couple of these guys. So then we were switching the Urshifu back. Yeah, we're doing it right now. I don't like Choice Scarf anyway. So because I lost my rain, I want the extra boost from Mystic Wanderer, and we'll have Tailwind, so I don't necessarily need to rely on the speed advantage from having Toy Scarf. So I don't have lefties yet, which is probably what I'll do. We definitely want Mirror Armor, so it can reflect back any Intimidate, which will also help us if we don't have Intimidate. So I think I just want Protect. So the other one, well, actually, like if you have leftovers, you kind of want Protect, because then you can stall out and get 2 rounds of it. But yeah, I want Protect. So Brave Bird already has a high base power, so you don't have to invest a whole lot into attack. Body Press is obviously going off defense, so we are going to invest heavy in defense anyway. I could have like Iron Defense to kind of boost that, but then you're kind of setting up a strategy where like, okay, I want Cornet to do damage. Like this is like what but he's really just here kind of for support, like to be really good for switch-ins, speed up the team with Tailwind, and then hit like key threats. So right now I'm just going to take the common thing. So like he's already pretty slow. Investing in a bunch of speed to try to outrun a Tailwinder, like because once you have Tailwind, you're already looking pretty good, right? So like investing a bunch of speed to outrun a Tailwind, like Tornadus is going to be the main Tailwind user, and you can't outrun him anyway. And I want as much kind of bulk as I can get. So this is just the Showdown like recommended spread. So I should have a Micro Spin in here actually too. I'll go to the team builder and do this. Okay, so we got rid of Pelipper. So Carbonite might feel weird. Like I've seen it on a couple of like sand teams that are running around. That's basically why I kind of thought of it. I was like, okay, Carbonite actually is a really good. Oops. So yeah, a lot of them have Roost though. Maybe I want Roost instead of Protect, because he's gonna have Tailwind, 24%, Body Press, Iron Head, Brave Bird. Yeah. Oh yeah, Bulk Up's pretty cool too. Yeah. So I think I'm good with what I have. Okay, so meta spreads. So we've had 244, 100, 132, 28. Okay, so put that in there. We'll put that in here. 244. So this guy has a little bit of attack even. I don't know why I felt like that, because we're only at Brave Bird. And what's this guy over here? Let's do that. 212, 156, 132. Let's say 156, 132. Okay, just kind of spread the spread the bulk out, because we're not trying to do a bunch of damage really. Like we're gonna try to be hitting super effective if we can. 4-4, and we're not gonna be intimidated because we have mirror armor anyway. So look, we're not gonna do a ton against. Well, we are investing in defense, so we are gonna do more than we would like, more than Incineroar would like. We'll calc that just to get a little experience with that too. And we're going Impish. So a lot of folks, like when they're talking about team builders, so defense increase, we'll talk about a lot about like building spreads, like going with the most common, or like kind of shopping through on Picolytics. I'm like, okay, this is what I kind of want him to do. Well, it's way faster, and like building a spread and actually doing the damage calculation like stuff like that can take some time, and that's got like some nuance to it. So like they're already giving you the answer, right? Like so, like most of those are the most common spreads in the metagame, unless you have a really big reason for going a different way. So so we did stack our like steel weaknesses, but just for fire, right? Because like Carbonite's already flying. So and we're gonna be tearing Iron Crown every time. So we would have had like 3 water types kind of with Pelipper. Damage calc that real quick. Okay, so built-in damage. The damage calculator is kind of built into Picolytics also. So. And what's the Picolytics set? Okay, I only care about the defense part. What did we do? Defense, we did 156 and we're Impish. Okay, it is Impish right now. So, I know I'm over on EVs, but I'm just trying to see how much... You got Body Press? No. See how much damage we'll do to Incineroar. computer will work. Okay. Okay, impish body press, well, 156 EVs. Just so I know going in. Oh, I don't want a blank set. Do you have EVs ready? I should have this like memorized. And have I recently used Incineroar? I don't. Nope. So, oh gosh, I'm gonna come out of here and it's gonna blank me out. Okay, so Incineroar. Okay, let's just pop it in here real quick. Incineroar, boop. Okay, meta spreads. So, 252, 100, 156. Oops, oh, I was right in here, See, it blanked me out, dang it. So its defense is 100, that's what we're worried about. Well, and 252 EVs for HP. Okay. Well, then I have one. Okay. Okay, Carbonite again. Where'd our team go? Okay, Carbonite, 156 impish. 156. And we are impish. And we need body press down here. Okay. So we got everything right. Body press, blah, blah, blah. So 156 defense, Corviknight, impish. So it's a 3-hit KO, so we're not doing great with that. But that's going to be the best way to hit it than anything else is going to have. Plus it can hit other like steel types that it might run into. But at least we know now, right? So we're doing like not quite like half-ish to that. So if it's got, I mean, it's not going to have a ton of attack in it either. But okay, so it's Flare Blitzing us back. So it's 2-hit KO with no investment. Okay, so we need a Terror type that's going to resist that. So we're going Water Terror. Well, actually, Dragon could be good too. So I'm not stacking an electrical weakness for when I can't Terror both anyway. But we're gonna go Dragon. Like the only thing that throws me off of that is we don't have a Steel move. But I'm trying to go like, and I could just be a Fire type too. So Fire type, weak to Water, Rock, and okay. So we're gonna go with that. So we're gonna be a Dragon type. That's pretty common, like defensive typing. I was thinking Water, but then I have like Urshifu's gonna be resisting to that, and then if I have a Dragon type, then I can resist Grass and Electric. Fire, obviously, so it's gonna be a better matchup against Rillaboom too. So yeah, so not hitting Incineroar for a whole bunch. So we gotta be a little more defensive on that. Okay. Okay. Anyone we can add to mitigate challenges? Yes, we did. Does the team have Fake Out, Taunt, Access? It doesn't. I don't have Fake Out because I have Psychic Terrain, so that's like the only reason I'm avoiding having that. You pretty much always want to have Fake Out. That's why Incineroar's in like every team. And Taunt most of the time. Just buy yourself that extra like time. So as we go through team review here in a little bit, you're gonna see most of my other teams have Fake Out. Does the team have any way to gain an advantage on turns 0 to 1? Lead pressure, speed control, disruption. Okay, so the booster energy on Iron Crown, having Psychic Terrain up, or being able to switch it in right away if I think they're going to lead Rillaboom. Like, they probably wouldn't lead Rillaboom just because the slower Pokemon gets their terrain, and DD's pretty slow, so I guess be prepared for him to come in, but they're taking damage, obviously. Do the members support each other beyond typing alone? So, yes, with really right now it's just Psychic Terrain for the most part, but also Tailwind and DD having Reflect, Helping Hand to boost other damage output and stuff like that. So I'd say we're okay there. how many members? Okay, so how do members support directly on typing alone? Okay, so yeah, so basically, if I didn't have like Reflect on DD, like in DD's obviously support Pokemon, so it's dang it, so it is helping otherwise, but Reflect is helping the whole team, right? Like a lot of these guys are helping the whole team. Ironcrown not so much. He's the one who needs help. Rapsicker, sure, that's more of a coverage thing. But Landorus being electric immune and ground immune, and Corviknight speed with Tailwind, and then just his typing presence. So modes, what are the primary leads? What are the alternative modes? Can the team pivot its game plan mid-match? Okay, so the primary mode is Iron Crown in DD, but we can also go with Ogerpon and in DD, and I would even say maybe Corviknight Landers or Corviknight in DD to just get Tailwind right away. Like Landers to come in, it threatens what to damage. People are going to want to focus on it, and then you're protecting Corviknight from an electric attacker or a fire attacker. Then you protect Landers, you Tailwind, and then you can just like hammer away with attacks or bring something else in while Landers does that. So those are kind of my lead ideas. What was the other question? Alternative mode. So, can we pivot? So, okay, we lead Iron Crown and DD, and they have Incineroar. Or they have, they changed their, they immediately changed the terrain. So, I lead Iron Crown, I lead in DD, they have Rillaboom. So, well, we have our terrain anyway. So, they bring in Rillaboom. So, I get an attack off, my Expanding Force hits one target, and then I need to get in DD out of there and bring in either Corviknight or Ogerpon Hearthflame to kind of threaten Rillaboom, and then what I'm probably doing is switching DD back in, get the terrain back, block his fake out, and then go for Expanding Force again. But at least I'm controlling. It's like in chess when you check your opponent, even when you're not necessarily trying to force a checkmate, but you are deciding what they're going to do their next turn, right? They don't have the freedom to do it. So if I switch in Ogerpon, and they just leave Rillaboom in, like I can just knock them out probably. So they're probably pivoting again, which means I'm free to Expanding Force. Okay. What team can the team pivot against this game mid match? What are your that's kind of Corviknight, right? Like getting the speed advantage back, switching in, taking resisted hit, being hard to take down. What are your leads versus common meta strategies? So if I'm talking about Raging Bolt, that's probably the Landorus like Corviknight lead, or like a mid game pivot to that. So Landorus is gonna be used kind of a lot. Iron Crown and DD kind of to overwhelm it. So I would say if I was gonna change anything about this team again, like swapping now that I don't have the rain, right? And I'm leaning a little more towards the physical side now. Having Landorus T instead of Landorus I is maybe the choice to make. Okay, so it does pretty much everything I'm looking for Landorus to do, except I'm not going to be hitting grass types, but I'll have U-turn. So that gives me a pivoter too, and I also obviously it brings Intimidate, and I'll be able to hit on the physical side. We're gonna do it. We're gonna go Landorus Styrian, and now here's the interesting choice: is I could have an Assault Vest if I really wanted to. Do I want an Assault Vest? Like I'm trying to have Taunt, but I don't know if I need Taunt, honestly, for this guy. So we're going to have Assault Vest. We're going to have Rock Slide. We're going to have Earthquake. We want U-turn for sure. And then we get to shop around a little bit. Crunch isn't... I don't want Crunch. I kind of want a fighting move, but okay, we want Stomping Tantrum. Okay, so just to have a single target ground type attack. Okay, so and just regular Jolly 252 is regular spread. This guy's a little bit, Assault Vest for a little bit of a boost, but that's already a better. That's already better. So like I'm missing the big damage output from like having the Life Orb. But I'm already doing a lot of damage with the extra boost from Mystic Water from Urshifu, and then I have the Psychic Duo and stuff like that. So okay, all right, back to okay. So I think that's a good change. I mean, we'll see. Landorus I just cooks out so much offense or not. Having that poison coverage is pretty nice. So that might be one I like. This is leaning more towards like I want to be hyper offensive, but then I'm trying to cover maybe almost too much. Like Lander's gonna be good now that I have Corviknight next to it and getting intimidated. Like there's a lot of good stuff there, but like you only bring 4 Pokemon, so now you're leaning on that, and you might be missing KOs with with the damage output not being as good. So another thing I could do is just put the Life Orb on Lander's T and kind of really catch people by surprise, and not have Assault Vest. I actually do better. Because I think we're gonna miss out on the like Assault Vest is good, but just the metagame that we're playing, it seems like there's like with Terrestrialization boosting damage and having a lot of the Paradox Pokemon that get it from the terrain or the weather. So now I kind of want U-turn, but I'm adding Protect back on. Okay, so I don't know if I love that yet. U-turn's actually probably better, but we're gonna go with that because I only have one. I don't want all spread. Okay. Look at the team pivot. Okay. So this is the logo from our from my old NBC multi-battle conference team. I thought that was funny. I found that in my computer. I'm like, oh, I'll put that on here. Okay. So here's just a 10-point check, right? So this is for EVs and stuff. Define your role: sweeper, a support, a pivot, a tank. Or so that is kind of what we just did with Landorus. Like I'm trying to make him more. I mean, this isn't Assault Vest, but be able to take hits and stuff. But like anymore, you're kind of getting overwhelmed with the like the power creep we're going to have. So it's not going to save him a whole lot. So change him into more of an attacker because we're worried about hitting things that the rest of the team is not going to be able to hit, like Raging Bolt. So as I go through my items, I obviously need Booster Energy. I have the Berry, but you can change it to whatever. But I just think otherwise the D goes down too easy. Another thing you could have, because we're worried about Rillaboom switching in and stuff, is eject buttons, which are going to get out real, reset your terrain. Mystic Water is obviously boosting offense. Like I could go Focus Sash there, so I've got to play kind of carefully. If I didn't have good defensive pivots, I'd probably do Focus Sash. Got to have the Heart Flame Mask. We're solid on Life Orb for right now. And then Corviknight, I wanted to have leftovers. And then, do I want Roost instead of this? I'm keeping Protect for right now. So I got Protect. He's kind of on everything. Like I'm gonna have Tailwind up. So I might want Roost just to be annoying. But then I'm trying to play like a more stalling game where like you just don't let it time that anymore. But like Corviknight's unique typing I might, so I'll try that. This is what we practice, right? Okay. I want to time try today, but if I can probably practice on Showdown on screen with that team and see how we do. Okay, maximize key stats, invest EVs to hit damage, speed benchmarks. So if you're building a bulky Pokemon, you want to have bulky EVs. Again, using Peakalytics is, there's a lot of resources out there. I just like to rely on Peakalytics. Sometimes they're a little slow to update for the new format, but just kind of utilizing that. What are the common spreads? And then checking some things. Like I'll make custom spreads every once in a while. When I'm doing a draft league like the NBC or something else, then I'm making custom spreads every week. So it is a skill I have, but for VGC it's not usually super useful for me because there's so many common things out there. Invest in bulk strategically, maintaining EVs to survive key opponents, and with with champions coming out, a lot of that looks like it is changing. Like they're kind of simplifying that, like in that champions app, how EVs work and being able to customize right on the screen. So pick moves for rolls and coverage. You don't want to necessarily have double stab, and then don't ignore having support moves. This is kind of for a lot of new players. Like I'll see people have a ground type and they'll have like every ground type move. Like, well, you're not usually clicking one over the other. You're just pick the best one unless there's a really key difference. Utility, fake out, taunt, follow me, speed control, support team synergy, don't just have attacks. Balancing spread and single target damage, talked about that. Choose items to enhance this role. So if it's an attacker, you want like a Life Orb or a Mystic Water kind of boosting item, or choice item. Survivability, leftovers, sash, or accuracy. I put wide lens on there, but that's not very common. I use that on Venusaur all the time, but. Check team synergy. Moves, EVs, and items must support team members and their core strategy. Like, what is your strategy, right? We're not trying to throw Pokemon together and throw them out there, which is like a lot of times is what the teams right now for regulation have kind of feel like. I haven't played a lot of the format, but that's kind of what it feels like. Iterate and validate. Adjust EVs, moves, and items based on meta threats, flowchart checks. So as we get through, and usually when I build a new team, I'll sit and go, okay, I'm going to do 20 games, and if I lose like 5 or more, I'm like, okay, maybe this isn't the team, or did I run into like common things I can make some changes and see if I can improve. Like usually I'll go like 20 games and get like maybe lose 2 or 3, especially on Showdown because I don't play on Showdown very much. So usually when I start on Showdown, I'm at the bottom of the ladder because I don't hardly ever play on it. So I'm playing like less experienced folks. So that's kind of I look at like what does it look like a 20 game picture, and it might be like, okay, I got unlucky, I got hacks in a couple of games, like 5 losses is fine, but that's kind of our pressure test for it. So we'll see if we can pressure test this team on another video. All right, so this is the quick sheet. Okay, so this is what I'll kind of post in the description here, so you guys can download it and kind of have it as a quick reference. So core identity: the team has a clear core and core with offensive, defensive synergy, and safe switch-ins. The team follows strong core type cores: fire, water, grass, steel, fire, dragon. It doesn't have to, but depending on if you're building like balance, you should. Team is built around a particular archetype: weather, trick room, balance, hyper offense, good stuffs. Okay. Offensive structure: good balance of physical and special attackers, spread and single target damage options present. Method to boost offense exists: weather, setup, abilities, items. Priority moves are available because you're only going to get so many. Like for this, you're only going to get so many turns, right? So if you are taking 2 turns knock a Pokemon out when you could change something and it could be 1 turn, that could either you win the game or you don't. Priority moves available. Now I usually try to have at least 1 priority move other than Fake Out, if I can fit it. Like obviously that's mostly Rillaboom nowadays. Rillaboom is so good in these formats right now, but since I'm relying on Psychic Terrain, I don't have any of that right now. Reliable speed control exists: Tailwind, Trick Room, Icy Wind, Scary Face, Electro Web, stuff like that. So I rely on Tailwind pretty much every time. So when I'm building a team, I'm like, okay, who's my Tailwinder? Like speed control is so important in VGC that you have to have some like kind of solid planner on that. And Tailwind is just easy to throw on because you kind of want to have a flying Pokemon anyway to be ground resistant and fighting resistant. So I generally will always have Tailwind on most of my teams. Team can function if speed control is denied or reversed. Trick Room, counterplay. So basically, most teams can function that way. You don't want to have the whole team is slow, but you gotta understand like, okay, what happens if I don't get my Tailwind? This is why Tornadus with like Cobra Cloak is so popular. Like you can't figure it out. It's getting a Tailwind unless like a Whimsicott taunts it or something. Trick Room, counterplay available. Taunt, slow Pokemon, roar, which you don't ever see anymore, or in prison. Defense mitigation: methods of disruption, damage mitigation exists: intimidate, screens, redirection, burn. At least 3 Pokemon can carry protect. Defensive typings and abilities overlap efficiently. So, do things make sense? Especially your typing overlaps. You're not like, I would say 3 Pokemon max all weak to the same common type would be like ground or something, or water, without like a hard check against it, was what I would suggest. Meta check: team is not weak to popular Pokemon or meta cores. Team counters at least some major threats. No winnable matchups without major outplays. Disruption: Fake Out, Taunt. Team can gain advantage in 0 to 1 turns, pressuring lead, speed control, disruption. Members support each other beyond typing. Modes and leads: primary lead defined, alternative modes. Team can pivot game plan mid-match, backup mode available. Clear win condition defined. Okay, I spam psychic thing. It's psychic spam, right? Like ideally, I get my maintaining train control. I'm able to use expanding force, handle their Incineroar, and use helping hand to boost through that. Speed control accounted for, defensive counterplay present, consistent leads identified. Okay, so that's kind of the end of that. So just the thanks page. Please subscribe if you haven't. So a lot of people who are viewing these videos are not subscribed yet, so I want to make sure everybody gets the chance to do that. And for the end here, I'm just going to take you on a tour of some previous teams to show how we kind of built them around this strategy. Okay, so looking at the team I've been using for most of Regulation F is this Blood Sun team. So not a lot of common Pokemon in here. Iron Hands, I feel like it has a really good matchup against the metagame still, especially with Assault Vest and heavy special defense investment. It's got the Steel Terra for Flutter Mane. It can it can go 1-for-1 with Drain Punch against Raging Bolt, especially if it has a Fairy Terra and I can Heavy Slam it. And then Drain Punch heals Switch back. So usually it wins at 1-for-1. Using Torkoal to bring up the sun in order to boost some of these abilities we get now from the Paradox Pokemon. I just have Walking Lake right now. Venusaur's flexible. Like I've been playing a lot of best of three, so if I get on the back foot for a second game, I like to be able to have Sleep Powder wide lens. But you could have like Hisui and Lilligant, so you can use after you to get Eruption going faster. There's a lot of things you could do. I did have Chen Pao on here in order to haze away the boost on Dondozo. You're just not seeing that as often. But that's a good lead there. Walking Wake, obviously boosted by the sun. Has the photosynthesis for special attack. Post Mystic Water, so Hydro Steam's doing a ton of damage. Only downfall, sometimes you're getting outsped. So more speed control in here that would be good. Mimikyu as my core Trick Room setter. I've gone through a couple different ones. Mimikyu I still kind of like the best right now. Can't be faked out. Hard to take out on turn one with 2 attacks because you obviously have to break the disguise, and I could have Iron Hands for fake out support. Mental Herb, so you can't taunt it. Play rough and just for some damage. Trick Room, obviously. Will-O-Wisp, I don't have Intimidate. And then Taunt to shut down. That's more for shutting down a Moongus. If I see a Moongus, obviously, Torkoal can outspeed him too, but I'll Taunt before I even Trick Room just to shut him down, and then I'll Trick Room. And then Ursulin with Blood Moon's kind of been like the disappointment, but I have Life Orb on here now, but I usually use Throat Spray. I go back and forth. But with Throat Spray, I really have to get the Hyper Voice up fast to get the boost, because he's not doing much damage without that boost, I feel like, even with this Terror type's wrong. We kind of rebuilt this on here just for this video. Okay, so that's what I'm using right now. So you can see how I kind of went through the same structure as I'm planning for this video. And then peeking at a couple of different ones. Like these are going to be old formats because they have been playing 2019, 18, and 17 on Showdown. But you can kind of see how the core strategy with building a team is the same. So in 2017, this is a team I ran. So that was my first year playing like VGC, not just online. So going through these, like that was a big year for like the terrains are basically like kind of the weather that year. Like you had to have kind of terrain control, and obviously with the Z Crystal. So pick Tapu Lele as my Tapu. Psychium Z was pretty much a one-hit knockout. Anything I didn't resist it or was immune to it. Mandibuzz, Psychic Seed boost. Had the Dark typing to kind of balance the weaknesses for Tapu Lele. Tailwind support. Toxic was really just for Porygon 2, that was kind of my play for that one, and then Foul Play. Garchomp is the best ground type, there was no Landras. Come in, Earthquake size Mandibuzz. I had protection, skipping down, I had protection from Aurora Veil, and also Yachi Berry protect from Ice Move, so I could get up a Swords Dance, and then get Tailwind up into Surge. And Garchomp was actually pretty fast for that format, so there wasn't a whole lot that outsped him. Arcanine, that was the most common Intimidator. Incineroar did not have Intimidate yet, so Mago Berry, those Fewant berries were actually more potent back then, so I'll get 50% of your health back. So those were pretty common, and with Flare Blitz I could lower my HP and kind of get that back. Extreme Speed, Wild Charge, and Protect is for Intimidate and Fire coverage, and especially for Celesteela, that was all over the place. Alolan Ninetales just to have a little bit of weather control in case I was facing a rain team. Freeze Dry can hit water types for super effective damage. Blizzard just for extra damage. Aurora Veil was new that generation, so that was huge just for protecting the team. And then Muck, Alolan Muck, Muck was good that format. Just because the tap was running around, they all shared the fairy typing. So Poison Jab, Knockoff, Flamethrower, Protect. I did run Poison Touch, which was kind of unusual. Most people had Gluttony, but getting that extra Poison chance was pretty good because you usually get the berry anyway. So you can see how that was like kind of consistent typing overlap. That was like the strategy of that team. 2018, so I stuck with Tapu Lele for kind of a long time. So 2018 was national deck, so we did get like Landers and stuff back, and Incineroar did have Intimidate, and we did have Megas that year. So that was the year my best regional finish. I finished 13th at Madison that year. So I probably played the most this year, honestly. Like typically I only do like one regional a year. I'll go to the local regional near me. I'm in Wisconsin, and I didn't obviously go through when they were closed for COVID, and I didn't go the year after they were open. So it's been a while, and I played in a couple local. So I don't do a whole lot of in-person tournaments just because I'm pretty busy in my regular life. So so Psychium Z again, Metagross. So with Zen Headbutt boosted by Psychic Terrain, that was doing huge. That was actually a really good speed stat with Mega Metagross then. Incineroar, just to balance the kind of their weaknesses, get Intimidate, Fake Out. Landers, kind of same thing. It was the best ground type then. I had ground DMZ on that also. Just kind of have different Z options depending on what I had to do. Gastrodon was huge that year. It was really helpful that year. There wasn't a lot of grass types around. There was kind of a lot of rain being used though. So Head Scald, Clear Smog was to delete boost. Like I thought about using Gastrodon against Dundozo too, but you can use Clear Smog to erase boosts. Gastrodon would actually be pretty good against Urshifu Rapid Strike. Just with Storm Drain, it sucks in all the water type attacks. Earth Power, Recover, so 2 ground types, but there's no overlapping weaknesses there. And then Zapdos was huge for me that year. So Psychic Speed, just to boost his defense. I already had, this is not the EVs, I had a really bulky one. Thunderbolt, Heat Wave, some extra fire coverage, Tailwind, and a Roost. So that was probably one of my favorite teams ever. But you can see how it's kind of consistent. All the things we're talking about in our checklist are present here. You know, extra damage from the Z crystals, good coverage overall. Gastrodon would have been my Trick Room answer. I have Tailwind support. Obviously 2 Intimidators there. Real quick into Ultra Series. I didn't put any of my teams on here from Sword and Shield, like the Dynamax teams, because it's so different. But obviously I posted a lot of videos from that era, so you can go back and see all the teams I had. So Ultra Series, so we had Primals back then, obviously, and Megas. So this is kind of my take on Big Six a little bit, kind of modernized version of it. Had Primal Groudon, had Sword Dance, so there's my offensive boosting. Obviously Xerneas also has Geomancy, so 2 boosters. Alolan Persian kind of doing what Incineroar does, only not sharing weaknesses with Primal Groudon, plus I'm outspeeding Incineroar by a lot. So my fastest fake out, parting shot to get out of there and get the drops before they attack. Quash more for Groudon to slow down other faster attackers, kind of lend Persian speed to Groudon so he can get off a big Pressless Blade to really support. So Persian was really good that year. Salamence, that was my Mega. So there's my Tailwind support and just regular Mega Salamence, being ground immune for ground and ground immune and water resistant for Groudon. Feeny was support, so Haze for opposing Xerneas, so you can delete their boosts. Icy Wind for more speed control. Moonblast and Heal Pulse. I had Swagger too. I don't clearly remember my 4. I might have had Swagger all over Moonblast and just had Icy Wind, but Swagger back then, Feeny did have that, and in terrain, it didn't confuse, but it would boost your attack, so I would self-Swagger onto Groudon. And then Thundurus was my Z Crystal, giving some extra support with speed control with Prankster Tail or Thunder Wave. Needed Taunt. I had a physical Wild Charge because Kyogre wouldn't get knocked out otherwise with the Z Crystal if it was based on Thunderbolt. So it was basically the only reason that was for. And Roleplay would swap abilities, so it would reactivate Desolate Land, so water attacks would not work. So you can see some of my kind of theories going through for all my teams as I'm building them. I won't go through all of them, but the 2017 ladder did come back last month on Showdown. I ended up close to the top of that, so that was fun to replay that. And then I'm replaying the 2019 ladder now too on here, so that's kind of fun. So maybe I'll post a couple videos on that. So hopefully that made sense, guys. I will be posting this a version of this quick worksheet in the description of this video, so you guys have that in case that's helpful. So leave a like if you like that, and subscribe, please, if you haven't. I'm trying to build some more interest in the channel before Champions comes out and to get more consistent uploads. Obviously, any questions you ever have about this or my thought process, leave a comment, or you can find me on X, Twitter, whatever. Also, too, so always happy to help anybody out or give any insight or take any feedback. So, okay, that's all I got for you guys for right now. I hope you have a great day.